had a really lovely therapy session today. I do parts work with EMDR, so they use bilateral beats to, I don't know, do something to my brain while I go into this imaginary space where all my different parts have been practicing for years now, congregating and talking with me and sharing what they think about various topics. And one of the things that was really exciting today was there was just such a noticeable enthusiasm. I have, as I said, spent several years cultivating relationships with all of these different parts of different ages and parts that have particular concerns or fears. And they have learned through that process that I don't push them. I don't try to convince them to think anything than what they think. I don't try to, I don't put them down. I don't even have a conversation with them unless they want to have a conversation with me. There's no obligation. There's no manipulation. There's a lot of trust. And it was so fun to see today how I brought up a complicated topic and everyone was like, yeah, let's dig into it. Let's talk about it. Like, we're so excited. And they were like questioning me and offering their own opinions and disagreeing with me openly. And it just felt like one of the healthiest, interpersonal interactions I've had in my life. There was just so much enthusiasm and openness, so little fear, so much trust and confidence. And it was exciting because I've worked on this. I've spent a lot of time investing in these relationships, and it was really lovely to see the growth. But then it was also really lovely because something that has been challenging for me throughout my life is how to have open, trusting communication with other people. And often we are told that we need to learn how to have healthy relationships or healthy attachment styles by being with healthy people, being in relationship. And I think that's, an interesting opportunity is to learn from healthy people. But healthy is a weird word. And what does that even mean? We can learn new things, I guess, from people who know things that we don't know, or who have had experiences that we haven't had. But I don't think there's any requirement for us to learn about how to love ourselves and have a secure attachment to ourselves through another person. We can do that with ourselves. And ultimately, if we learn something from someone else and then are dependent on them to be able to play it out, then that's not actually a secure attachment with yourself. And for me, having a secure attachment with myself seems far more important than having a secure attachment with another person, because if I have a secure attachment with myself, then everything else is a bonus. Can you see that little cardinal that just landed right in front of me? Hello, buddy. Wow, such a bright red. They just flew off. I just loved having that experience. Oh, and there's their partner. I loved having that experience so close to having had that conversation with someone I was working with, that you can learn how to have a trusting relationship with yourself, whether you have another person to practice that with or not. And then the other really interesting and exciting part of what I was doing today was that I had ChatGPT help me come up with a list of the behavioral expectations, the role expectations, and the purpose of assigned female at birth people within evangelical Christianity, so that I could go through them one by one with all of my parts and see what people have to say about them, whether we, what we might like to untangle or come to a different understanding on with any of these. And it was just in the very first one, as there was a list of like 12 things. First of all, just seeing the list of 12 things was really validating, because sometimes I sort of trick myself into thinking that I've kind of exaggerated these things that I thought I was taught, or that it was less intense than I thought, but it's definitely not. And even just with the first one that I thought maybe that my parts wouldn't have too much to talk about, it was that like it is important to be modest in order to not tempt men, or be a temptation to men. And it was like an unbelievable conversation. It stretched into so many different parts of my life experience and my current reality, and was really incredible. And I'm so excited. I'm going to go through all of them. And this is, Richard Schwartz, who came up with the internal family systems philosophy. This is the what is possible when your parts are trusting you as the big S self. You then get to just play together and being like, okay, I was taught this, and what do we think about it now? Versus when you're not integrated with them, or when you're not having a trusting relationship with them, it can be like, you're at war with yourself, because your parts are holding so tightly to these old rules that you learned, and you're trying to do something else, and you're playing tug of war. But with this, I just feel like, first of all, I can't believe it, but I'm like the happiest I've ever been, and I keep getting happier. And it's not a happy that has anything to do with my environment. Like, nothing in my environment really has changed. I mean, a lot has changed, but also nothing has changed. So like all of the same, I still have the same trauma history and the world is like not getting easier, better, or making more sense. It's getting a little more crazier, making less sense. I get to do work that I love, and that's a huge change. But a lot of the stressors are still there, and it just astonishes me that I just feel genuinely so excited and curious and motivated, and like when I feel tired or sick, or like all last week I had this shoulder thing where it would hurt every time I moved. It's like no matter what's happening, whether it's a so-called positive experience or so-called negative experience, I'm still feeling like really, really stoked about being here, and just like curious and excited, like my life is really fun. And I think a lot of that probably has to do with feeling like everybody's on the same team within me. I'm not at war with myself anymore. And we can decide together what we think about all these things that I was taught and all these things that I've experienced. And we can, just like everything becomes like a very interesting book. Anyways, just wanted to share that. Lots of love.